Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Friday morning trading session. Sorry, I'm a little bit late here. Just scrambling to get my charts set up. They reset. I reset stuff on them, and as such, I had to reload everything. All right, so here we are, Friday morning, the NASDAQ just opening up, and yesterday the NQ in a little bit of a rally mode, wasn't it? When things finally sorted out. It doesn't look like much, but in fact, the NQ had a nice progression higher until about an hour ago when the market started to unwind and tried to head lower. We're currently moving a little bit sideways. However, we did leave off up here yesterday around the 45.30 mark, and we're opening down here around the 45.20 mark, so there's going to be a little bit of a gap above the market here. We'll see whether or not they try to get into that gap or whether they're just going to rally from the open and continue to head lower. Here's a green bar sell signal. I'm going to let this one turn over, turn the ATR over is what I mean, in which case this bar right here is going to become my signal bar. Now this is, again, it's very early. You know, I'm not a big fan of taking trades early. If you wanted to test the waters, so to speak, to see which way this market may be moving today, if at all, there's an opportunity for you. In fact, you could use this current bar as a second push entry, and all that means is we allowed the signal to engage, which we did, and then we allowed the signal to fade so we know the current limit of the buyers and sellers. And what this enables us to do is we're going to enter the market on renewed momentum, but this bar, if it trades below here, is going to turn this ATR over anyhow. So it does get you a slightly quicker entry. You're going to save about 3 or 4 ticks. And like I say, we're just kind of testing the water, seeing which way the wind is blowing. I'm running out of cliches. All right, so there we are. Good morning, Jim. Jim says we got 1,300 buyers and just over 1,200 sellers. So very, very slight bearish bias to the market. At least according to the advanced decline figures. So my break even is down here at the lows. This was the other reason I wanted to take a slightly earlier entry. By delaying my entry below the low of the signal bar, I'd have to make the market move that much harder to get to my break even and my profit objective. And of course, with the double tap here on the lows, sometimes earlier is going to be better. At least that's what I'm hoping. But we've got a pretty good stop. Our stop is technically just above where the market closed yesterday. See, so the market closed, what did I say, around 45.30-ish. That's pretty much where our our stop is at. All right, I'm going to put this on the shelf. We'll just kind of let that ruminate a little bit. We've also got a first micro-macro cross signal here in the hawk, which again, you could do a second push on. You probably want to try to cover it up there. If the order fills, I'll probably try to let it run out, seeing how it's a single. All right, so let's let that go. And then we get a comparable signal here on the Raptor, which just tripped. Or if you wanted, you could wait for this next set of signals to develop. We're getting another pair of warning dots. So a couple signals across the board then, kind of matching what we're seeing. Let's see, is this where they're holding up? No, not yet. Big struggle. Yeah, oil is bouncing around a little bit. Jim says oil seems to be very volatile this morning. Here's oil on the Eagle. It doesn't look very volatile here on the Eagle, but you can see the band keeps twisting. It's twisting up like a rope. Got a little bit of a pennant triangle slash wedge developing. All right, so far so good on our trades. I'm going to enable my stops now. So we'll take that trade to break even. And we've just got the runner on there. I guess I should enable my stops now on the Eagle as well. In fact, I could go with something more aggressive, even though we're just above our profit objective. And likewise here with the Raptor. All right, I'm not going to let the Eagle back up on me too much. There we go. That's all you get. You just get that one bar. If you can't pull it together off the one bar, then you may as well give me what profit you have. Now notice, had I taken the signal on the hash mark, the high probability signals always originate off the hash mark. That's something to bear in mind when you're looking for the market to find or find its profit objective or where it might react. You can see here we did hit our high probability profit target had I taken the signal right on the hash mark. And that was a consideration because of the logistics of the trade, because of these lows. Sometimes you want to take the early entry so that you can get the early profit. Okay, so they're struggling a little bit now with the overnight low, and if they push through there, well, I think we're going to be home free. I think 4,500 will be a given. That'll be another 10 or 11 full points lower, another 40 ticks. So we'll just let that play. Come on, get down below those lows. Come on. No, go away. There we go. Come on. Somebody tick the low. Oh, they had it. So we need somebody to, come on, stop that. Where are we on the low? Is it 45.07? 45.6 3/4. We need somebody to take 45.6 half. So this is trying to be a 4-arrow consolidation here on the hawk. We've got 1, 2, 3. If this signal trips before we hit the high, we're going to have our 4-arrow consolidation. If you're looking to take this 4-arrow consolidation, it's safer to give up a few ticks and enter below the low. All right, there's the 4-arrow consolidation. Let's see if we get the follow through now. There's 407. There's 407. There we go. Okay. Whew. That was hard work. All right, so where's my support and resistance suite? We also had comparable trend change signals here on the Falcon come back with the trend line touch. Actually, this is a nicer trend line touch signal here because it does have that little bit of consolidation look to it. All right, so 405, or pardon me, 402.25. That's my next line. Intuitively, I said 405, but it looks like 402.25. So we're going to get a lot more aggressive here with our stops as we get down to that 402.25 mark, and we could even just set a profit objective at 402.25. Yeah, and we'll buy one back at 402. No point in being greedy. That's how you get in trouble. So did we slip? Oh, we got positive slippage on the trade. Love it when that happens. Okay, so we just got tapped here on our hawk trade, did we? And the market looked back just enough to tag me, but that's all right. That's a pretty decent scalp. We've kind of doubled our scalp target there. And we're left here now with the Raptor, where we have one runner left, and we're playing the parabolics on the Raptor. There we go. There we go. All right, so let's see what happens as they get down toward the 402 mark. I might have to get a little bit more aggressive with my stop, so getting some more sell signals. And here are the buyers trying to dig in. 403.25 is the low of that bar. Pardon me. There's 402.25. There's 402.25 right on that support line from our support and resistance suite. There's 402. 402. There we go. So we would have got filled on our 402 profit objective if the market didn't back up on us that extra little bit. Okay, I'm going to go now with the bar high-low strategy because we're getting a significant amount of profit in this trade. See, we've got about almost $300 in open profit if I closed out right now. And I just don't want to give too much of that back. Parabolics holding the market or holding the stops a little bit deeper, the bar high-low a little bit more aggressive. But we have breached this whole 4,500 area, which is going to be a psychological barrier for the market as well. So parabolics coming in quickly, and I got tapped on the bar high-low stop, which is okay, and almost took $300 out of that trade. So hooray for us. Well, thanks for joining me this morning. Hope everybody has a great weekend. See you later. Bye. I can go back to bed for an hour. That's how trading's supposed to be. That's how trading on Friday is supposed to be. All right, coming back now with a macro pullback. I have to say I'm a little reluctant to hop on board here. We have just, we're near the top of the hour. You can see here from our Raptor, I'm kind of tracking the opening range, and it seems as though this is where the buyers are choosing to dig in, at least for the moment. The market very bearish at the moment. However, a pullback to the hard edge, not out of the realm of possibility. if we get a little failure here and then the market tried to tick up, perhaps give us a soft edge sell, that would be a very, very aggressive buy. But you could do it. Oh, see, now we're getting that failure. We're going to get the soft edge buy signal. You could anticipate the market's going to go to the hard edge. The market has been paying off to the short side, however, so I would prefer sell signals. Yeah, Jim says the Russell's still very weak. I think it's going to be a rally that's going to be sparked mostly by profit taking. And then as the market, if the market gets up here, the sellers are going to get interested again and try to knock it down. Now, if in fact we're going to see the market trade within a sideways range, this is a very big trading range. But if you're looking to buy, I'll simulate it, but it's not a trade I would recommend. I'll do it for you so you can see it. In fact, what are the other tools doing? Yeah, so we've got a couple macro pullbacks here, coming back with yet another macro pullback. So the Hawk still very bearish. The Falcon also producing a trend line touch, still bearish. The Eagle just into the soft edge, so no real signal there. All right, well, they're thinking. This is the first little segment where the market actually hesitated. So notice all this way here, lower low. And then right here was the first little higher low. The first real hesitation on the part of the market. The macro pullback, of course, just exploding to the downside as all those buyers got wiped out. And we also got this raptor signal at the same time, which took out the buyers. Unfortunately, it developed so quickly, it would have been nearly impossible to take. That looks like all the buyers jumping ship right there. So now they're going to try to dig in again. So a good little lesson there, why you don't want to buy into a market that's trending lower. Sometimes it seems easier, to your eye. It just looks like, well, there's all this structure here. Why would it not retrace? But as a trading friend of mine used to say, the big money is always on the surprise side. And what's that other expression? There's no, a bull market knows no resistance and a bear market knows no support. There you go. A couple cute little trading sayings for you to live by. Oh, we're kind of making a little bit of a sideways channel here too, aren't we? That's kind of interesting. So we're right at the bottom end of this channel now. Not the best place to sell. Actually, had I shot that trend line earlier, that would have been a very effective place to short from. Anytime you can get a signal that coincides with the trend line, that's adds to the probability, adds to the strength of the signal. Notice, the market went sideways here for a little bit, got close to the trend line. Well, at the time, it was actually touching the trend line. I've since readjusted the trend line slightly. But hit the trend line, boom, down she goes. Drifts back to the trend line, boom, down she goes. So long as it remains within this little trending channel, it's going to be a pretty strong market. Once it starts to wiggle its way out of there, then we're going to see prices drift. I doubt the buyers are going to reverse this market today. It's entirely possible, but what's more likely to happen is that we're going to end up going sideways for a little bit. All right, so a decent macro pullback. The soft edge bounces here on the eagle are always a little bit tricky to take because very often they do develop near the bottom end of a trading range. So if we kind of highlighted, say, the range like this, you can see the soft edge, when this soft edge sell is developing, it's not as attractive a signal given its proximity to what could possibly be support. Now, if you go in, eyes wide open, you cover above the top end of the channel, you could actually tighten your profit objective and look to try to take profit as the market got back down here to say 45.06. and it took some serious heat before the market finally reversed. At this point, well, you may as well hold out for the full objective because it looks like the market's going to actually come down now and try to tag the bottom end of the channel, which is what it ended up doing. So just a little lesson on trend channels. And this is interesting too. Normally you think of a breakout through a channel as bearish, that this is going to be more bearish, but this is actually bullish. All right, we got this. Wow, they're just hammering the buyers. So how many zones did we travel? I was looking initially here at 45.02, took out a whole other zone, went down to 44.88 half, or 3/4, sorry. And it looks like that might be where they're going to try to put on the brakes, maybe. Good morning, Joe. Oh, sorry, Jim. Jim asked to see the cloud to cloud on the YM. Coming up, Jim. There we go. So we have got the bottom end of the cloud at around 177.06, the top end at 177.50. That's a pretty big cloud. So the Raptor producing a nice little double pullback signal here into the hard edge coming out. That was out of the open as well. Not as big a reaction on the second leg lower as what we saw on the NQ. Good morning, Joe. And Joe, yeah, I agree with your comment. Joe says, I love the trade manager on a day like today. It does make managing your trade a whole lot easier, doesn't it? All right, so here we are now on the Raptor and getting a lot more volume coming in as we're hitting the bottom end of our channel. Wow, the sellers are just killing the buyers. Yeah, this is not a bull market in any sense. We might see some profit taking here. Could see a little bit of an uptick, but I think you really want to stay short. Oh, fantastic. Joe says, I'm just watching it locking up profits. Nicely done. Are you in the NASDAQ, Joe? Or are you trading something else? NQ all the way, he says. Well, this is a fantastic, fantastic move to capitalize on, regardless of which tool you used. Shoot, I should have, let's see, had I stayed with the parabolics, no, I would have got stopped out on this little hesitation right through here. Had I stayed with the ATR, did the ATR ride it out? No. So this little reset here, where the buyers tried to load up again and the sellers overwhelmed them. So my initial trade worked out pretty good. Took that first micro-macro cross, rode out this swing here, and ended up taking profits. Oh, I think we got tagged right here on a quick little reversal. With the Raptor, we took profits a little bit deeper. And then this macro pullback signal, again, developing as the buyers and the sellers duke it out, and then the sellers end up pressing much lower. A beautiful trade, just out of curiosity. Had I gotten into that macro pullback, oops, what's the open profit? So open profit is $300. That's serious profit. On a single contract, huge. Yes, I agree. Joe says, Joe's watching volume. He says they're approaching a high volume area. They might bounce here. And Jim says the 30-year bond is selling off, so that would make things a little bit more bullish. Plus, we had a breach here of the trend line, which also makes things bullish. Now, you would think a break through the bottom end of a trading channel would be more bearish, but in actual fact, it does make things a little bit more bullish. Way to go, Joe. Joe says, nailed 685 per contract on the NASDAQ. Joe says, thanks, trade manager. Nicely done, Joe. Fantastic. What a nice way to go into the weekend. All right, if we get a soft edge buy, so we need the failure, we need to see the failure, we need to see the market come back with a soft edge buy, that might be worth attempting. The buyers are going to step in here somewhere. There's going to be some profit taking, not necessarily active buying, however, profit taking. You are much, much safer waiting for the sell signal, however. Yeah, it is amazing. Sorry, I'm just snooping around looking for an opportunity here. Look at today's range, just kind of blew out of the water. The rest of the ranges, Joe says, the NQ 34.25 points, just amazing, and it is a huge range, 228 ticks. Decimated yesterday's range, which was only 187, the 5-day average 108, the 10-day average 160, and even the 30-day range, which was still under actually under 190, 188 half. So it's huge decline here in the NQ today. All right, we're getting that little struggle that we've been waiting for. We are getting another macro pullback signal. Remember that typically we only see 2 macro pullback signals within a trend. This is a very strong trend, so 3 macro pullbacks not out of the question. I'm a little bit late on that particular signal, pardon me, fighting off the hiccups here. And we're just kind of hovering above the intended profit target. Would have hit the break-even trigger, so the heat is off. And there we go. The sellers seem in total control. Now, if we flinch at this point, we're going to have our test of the low. Now note the width of this bar and note the width of this bar. What do you think? Active buying? Active selling? That's what I would think. I would think this is the line in the sand for the buyers, and this is where the sellers are prepared to defend. Oh shoot. Jim says, Eric, what's the next line of support on the DAX? You mean the DAX has blown through all the levels? Hold on. We'll see if we can load it up here. That has not happened all that often. Yeah, do that, Joe. Joe says, I need to send Adam another testimonial. Adam loves testimonials. Adam loves feedback. All right, so here's the support and resistance suite. Next line, Jim, to the downside, 10,008.5. So 10,008 half, and the line up, well, you probably know, 190 half. So let's see what's been going on in the DAX. We'll wind this back here, see around their native time frame, which would be around midnight my time. Wow, what a huge market. I'm not even going to be able to get back here. This is only from an hour ago, 2 hours ago. Monster swings. There's a beautiful little trend change signal. Great follow through. Little waffly here on the Falcon, but comparable signals on the Eagle and the Hawk. And the DAX also in a nosedive. Okay, notice here now on the NQ, we're drifting into yellow bars. That last macro pullback was perhaps the last macro pullback. And as I mentioned, I don't expect a full-blown reversal. Good question, Mo. Mo asks, Eric, does 44.90 look like a decent entry on the NQ? So what Mo is looking at is, can I buy the failure of this macro pullback signal? And the answer is yes. You could cover below the low. You could try to unwind it, see how high it will go. I don't focus on the counter trend signals all that often. I will show you the green bar sell, the failure of the green bar sell, which we're trying to get one going right now. But yes, you can also buy the failure of a macro pullback signal. The reason we don't do that often is because sometimes you'll get the macro pullback signal and you try to buy above and the market will just go up another tick or two and then reverse and head lower. What tends to happen with the green bar sell signal, it's a little bit more final. But yeah, Mo, this is a very decent buy. I'll hold out for the green bar buy, but sure, buying the failure of the macro pullback, absolutely nothing wrong with that. And, oh, see, we got the, I'm going to sim it here. We've got the buy signal now on the Raptor. So the Raptor actually producing the signal a little bit early. Yes, I know this isn't a perfect retest of the low. I always tell you that the retest, the failure needs to be like this, right? Where we've retested the low, we've failed, we've come up short. This is kind of showing us the same stuff. Same thing but different. Now what you would need to do is you would need to cover below the low of this whole mess. In fact, you probably want to give it a couple extra ticks because of the strength of the sellers. And now they're coming back with that proper retest again. And what you're looking for is a move here to the hard edge. So the Raptor producing the signal early, if you're looking to buy that failure of the green bar sell, which we didn't get, or the failure of the macro pullback signal, you're currently still on the sidelines, which is not a bad place to be in such a bearish market. Yeah, ideally, getting a few comments here. Ideally, yes, you want to hold out until you get above those highs. I know the Raptor signaled early, and I did punch into the trade early. There'd be absolutely nothing wrong with delaying your entry a couple of ticks to take out this high, because that's where the active selling is, right? We know that. And here we come back with yet another buy signal. And again, I'm not anticipating massive buying here. If we see the hard edge, if we see a retest of the low of the opening range around 44.97, that would be huge. Jim, I'll grab that YM for you. So the YM also giving us kind of that head and shoulders bottom type formation. I don't trade the head and shoulders per se because they do fail, right? Everybody thinks it's such a strong bottom formation, but they do fail. So you want to be careful about getting too crazy on some of those formations. So you could be long the YM from the soft edge buy right here, or better yet, offer up a couple of ticks, take it above here on a break. Yeah, interesting comment, Mo. Mo says, Eric, I follow Ben on Bazinga, and he boxes in certain areas, and then when they break out, he will either buy or short. I tend to do that as well. If the market is responding in certain ways, I don't do it so much with the DTS, because the DTS system produces its own signals. But yeah, if you have a tight little trading range like this, or a consolidation, consolidations are great. So if you have a sloped consolidation, you can probably anticipate the market to continue with trend. If you have a more sideways consolidation, the market's essentially neutral. It can go either way from here. The difficulty is in defining the consolidation period. You don't want to be too quick to define your consolidation, because if you did, if you can find said this was your consolidation, and it certainly looks like a consolidation pattern, you would be short from here, and now you would be, looking to get back below those lows, which is very, very possible. Yeah, there's 1,001 ways to skin this cat, and then some. Speaking of which, it's kind of the subject for my, well, sort of the subject for my Top Step Trader presentation later this morning in about 2 hours time, 2.5 hours. People are always so focused on the entry, right? They always think if we could just get a better entry signal, we'll eliminate those losers. And yet they totally ignore some of the simple things that can make such a big difference in your trading. All right, I'm going to put this one back on the shelf. So looking for the NQ now to support this low, give us a higher swing low. And from there, we will hopefully see a little bit of a rally again as we take out these highs. Massive selling here, a little bit more selling here, a little less selling here. The volume on these bars is a little light. Some of this selling could have been profit taking as well. That could account for the width of the candle. Is traders who were running stops pretty tight. It looks like there was maybe a little profit taking around here. Maybe a little bit more profit taking. Market drifts lower, not much downward momentum, comes back, makes a higher swing low, and we come back with yet another buy signal. And there's resistance all along here, 44.90, 4,500. Like I say, a huge move would be back here to 44.97, 98. All right, that's close enough to break even for me. I'll force that trade to break even. So we scalped out with a little profit, and we'll see whether we can't sneak a little bit more out of this. And maybe I'll go now to the parabolic. Just on the off chance. So what made me a little bit more bullish on this, and I'm going to go now with the bar high-low. I'm not going to let any of that profit get away. So what made me a little bit more bullish on this was right here, this trend line break right there. So when you have a market that's trending so well, and then it starts to break your trend channel, you may want to pay attention. Yeah, Mo says, Eric, that 44.90 entry worked. You almost sound surprised, Mo. Yes, of course it worked. It's supposed to work. The only question now is, are we going to see a little bit of a retest? You know how I tell you when we've got a trading range, prices are bouncing around in here. And then when we finally get the breakout, which is this part right here, we should anticipate a retest. So if I were smart, I'd hold my stops back here at break even. In anticipation of this retest, I entered, when the market broke out, look for the retest, look for the market to resume the trend, and look for that buy signal, or at very least, a chance to start rolling my stops. Problem is, sometimes, if my entry is a little bit late, or if the market tries to retest a little deeper, I could get tagged at break even, and then all my hard work is for nothing. So we're sneaking up on this 44.97-ish line. Come on. Come on. Oh, I like the width of that candle. See, I think a lot of sellers or buyers, people who are jumping in here, are thinking the same thing, that the hard edge around 44.96, 97, probably a pretty good profit opportunity. We're starting to see a little bit more active selling now as traders start to load up a little bit. Sellers, of course, the bears are going to be selling all the way here. They're going to be selling all these bars, trying to short the market lower. See, there's that reaction. Now, if I were smart, I'd take my profit. $4,500 is probably the number of choice. Early selling will occur around 44.98, 44.99. Early profit taking from the buyers, especially those that started buying down here, buying again here, are going to be looking at that 4,500 area as the same kind of thing. You know, might be a good spot to bank at least partial profits. All right, so there's 44.97 half, 98. Yeah, you can see they're starting to sell. Okay, we got 44.99. Now the sellers, pardon me, I think the sellers are going to get much more aggressive around 4,500. In fact, I'm going to protect my position a little bit more. There we go. In case they back up off 4,500. Right now, 44.99 quarter seems to be the high. And now we'll probably see the sellers try to come back and knock them down again. Way to go, Jim. Jim bagged 25 ticks on 2 contracts. Nicely done. And Mo grabbing 6 points on that move. Fantastic. All right, so there they go. They stopped me out on that little hiccup. You can see the buying and the selling that's going on. I think the sellers, like I said, may look to overwhelm the buyers again at this stage. Recover that downtrend. See how we have monster downtrend. And this current rally has a bear flag flavor to it. So we did end up getting a green bar sell right here, which we could have bought the failure of. You know, could have also waited for that first micro macro cross. Either way, no problem hitting the high probability target in either case. But like I said, I don't know. No, I think the sellers are still a force to be reckoned with. What I was thinking of was yesterday's trading, where the market out of the gate made a massive move lower, and then the buyers dug in and pushed the market right into the close. Today, massive sell-off to the short side, even much bigger than yesterday's. But look at this rally that has come about. Got a nice little trend change signal here in the Falcon as well, by the way. So a perfect trading day today. The market following through perfectly on all our signals, just giving us a plethora of opportunities to make money today. I think it was Joe who said earlier, it's like shooting fish in a barrel today, and that's exactly right. Well, my trading day would be done. We've managed to capitalize on 3 or 4 very high probability signals. And just for curiosity, people always make the mistake of thinking you have to have a lot of trades in a day to make money. But let's see how we did here today. So there's, well, we'll say 500 for easy math. Okay, so there's $700, $800 on 3 or 4 trades. I didn't get that Raptor, or pardon me, the Falcon trade on because we were watching the Raptor. But there's, just a great example of how it doesn't take frequency to earn money trading. Does not take frequency, just takes the right opportunity. Ooh, I like that. I should make that into a t-shirt or a hat. All right, getting a macro pullback. I would probably be more keen to sell this green bar sell signal if it was developing closer toward this trend line up here. Given the breach of our trend channel, given this recent rally, I think we might see the market drift a little bit further. Even now, the green bar sell signal hasn't developed yet, but I'm just kind of spitballing here. If it ends up printing somewhere down here around the 44.89 area, 44.90, I would still have to cover the trade up here, right? Because I would anticipate that the market would fill, maybe bounce, and then try to retreat back here to the hard edge, or to this trend line, pardon me, not the hard edge. We're currently at the hard edge. So that means my stops would have to be way up there. Not the best looking trade. Compare that with something like this, where we're challenging the highs. This trend line would not be here yet, but we're challenging the highs, making a lower swing high, come back with the green bar sell, and we can look to take advantage of that move. The Raptor getting considerably stronger, producing or working on producing a cloud crossover. Like I said, though, I'm not going to get too crazy. Here we've got, oh my goodness, this is all those sell orders. The market's starting to waffle a little bit, and I certainly wouldn't want to give up any of my hard-earned profit. Yeah, like Joe says, frequency only makes your broker money, doesn't necessarily make you money. You'll get a really nice fruit basket around Christmas time from your broker, though. All right, you guys, I think, you know what, it's the weekend. We're going to close up the room a few minutes early. I'm still going to get ready for my presentation. Take it easy, though. If you're trading this afternoon, this whole 4,500 area is going to be a big number. And I think yesterday 45.05 was a number to be dealt with, as was 45.10. So plenty of opportunities for resistance and additional selling above us here. This market is still bearish in my books. If you look at the overall move, we're still much, much more bearish than we are bullish. So don't get too crazy on the buy side. But I would not be surprised to see prices drift maybe as high as 45.10. That would be a huge, huge day for the buyers. All right. Hope to see some of you at my presentation later today. If not, I'll catch up with you guys on Monday. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend. Bye for now.